Welcome back to the BSN channel. This is quite a disputed topic, so yeah, I'm just gonna get started. I mean, it's good to have discussions, debates about certain things, and what I want to talk about is British rappers, or people who say British people can't rap or they shouldn't rap. Alright, first of all, I'm talking about, predominantly North American people who say this a lot. Not all of them, but there's quite a few of them that say rapping shouldn't be in a British accent, we shouldn't rap, it just doesn't sound right, it sounds horrible. First of all, I just want to say I understand what they're saying. I understand where they're coming from. I really can't blame them for thinking that. Because, think about it in this sense, yeah. You've grown up with just American TV and not being exposed to British accents, probably except Mr. Bean or stuff like that. As you grow up, you're not going to be used to hearing, say, like a British person rapping. It's not going to be something you're used to. You see, those who were born in Britain, like us, in Great Britain, UK, whatever, we were raised with half American TV, half British TV. So most of the films we watched were essentially American. Most of the best films come from America. Godfather, Scarface, Predator, Alien. That's a few of my favorite movies. The Exorcist. Well, I think The Exorcist is. I'm not sure. Yeah. What else? A lot of Steven Spielberg's movies, Quentin Tarantino movies. Do you see where I'm coming from? A lot of the classic movies are American. And another thing is American rap or US rap has been promoted way more than UK rap has ever been promoted. For example, me growing up, I don't remember seeing a young black guy he doesn't have to be black, but a guy from our culture in England representing in the mainstream in the UK. It's only happened recently, but when I was young growing up, it didn't happen. And even now, recently, we haven't done it with our natural music. We've had to compromise our sound to get to the mainstream, But when I was young, I was hearing Eminem, Nelly. That's a few of the people that were on my TV. Now, I can't control what comes on my TV as a child. I can't control the brands that we wear. A lot of these things come from America, and they're just imposed on us. I don't have a problem with it, but that's the reason why I think there's a difference between how we receive things and how some Americans might receive things, because some of them, they might not just be used to hearing a new culture doing something they do. I mean, they might respect it or they might hate it. I find it very interesting. I mean, you got quite a few Americans who they like it, and then you got quite a few I see in the comments, they just don't like it. They just think we shouldn't be we don't sound like we should be rapping. But that's understandable. You wasn't raised on British TV. You never heard British rap on your radio ever. Probably the closest was what was their name? I think it was SAS. They were like affiliated with Dipset and back in the day. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, then The answer is no. You haven't heard any British rap on your radio at all. So I understand why they would say that. But we as British people need to just understand that we were all raised differently. We all have different minds. We all accept things in different ways. As a British person growing up, what's this guy doing? The first thing I listened to wasn't rap. I didn't grow up listening to rap. I started listening to rap when I was 10, 13. The thing I was listening to when I was growing up, because I was growing up on the block, in a council estate. So what we had, which I don't know if Americans know, we had this thing called grime. Before it was called grime, we all called it garage. And as you know, garage is more mellow, dancey type of songs. Well, yeah, it's the same sort of tempo. It's a little bit faster sometimes, but it was much darker. But we still called it garage. We didn't have a name for it. And I don't know where the name grime came from, but the grime comes from, essentially, it comes from a mixture of, say, house, garage, dancehall, and elements of rap. But essentially, it comes from house, garage, jungle, dancehall sort of mix. And that's what we was all doing, listening. That was, people could say, in a way, that's our form of hip-hop. Yeah, you could say that. That is our form of hip-hop. There weren't turntables and... Well, yeah, there was turntables. What am I on about? There was turntables, yeah. Sorry, why is... to be honest, it's done near enough the same way as hip-hop. It's total different tempo. The beats per minute is 140. You can't really spit like conscious lyrics on grime. That's why when grime came out around 2003, 2002, I just had started secondary school. So this is, when I first heard grime, I was amazed by it. I just loved it, because I just wanted to do what the olders would do. But a lot of the olders, they were into old school hip-hop. They had different influences, because them times, we didn't have our own thing. Hip-hop was universal in the sense that everyone understands it. If you're from the struggle, it's something to do. You spit your pain on the beat. You sample a record, you make a beat. It had a real hip-hop feel. It was no different from listening to KRS-One, except it was a British accent. But them old school heads, a lot of them started copying the accent, sounding American. Then they found their identity, started rapping in a British accent. Then we came along, our generation, which was around just after the garage era. I know I'm mixing up my thoughts a bit. Let me try and put it in perspective. There was the jungle era. We had the jungle drum and bass era. Yeah, they were like 10 years older than me. You either was into jungle or you was a old school hip hop head, listening to Rodney MC and all that, or you like both. Then you had the people who were into garage, that sort of thing. Then grime came along, but it was called garage. I know a lot of Americans probably don't know this, but grime was different from hip hop. We didn't classify it as the same thing. It's like, for example, I write lyrics myself. I know to, but I don't do it no more. Still write lyrics, but I don't spit. When I was growing up, going to school, we used to have clashes, and what we would do is you'd either spit or you rap. There were two different things. Yeah, rap was slow. It was freestyle. Spit was on grime. It was written. It was about the flow. Grime is different. It's not it's not based on meaningful metaphors. And if it is a metaphor, it has to be quick. It has to be a quick punch, like bah, 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 bah. That's how fast grime is. Grime, you don't just sit back and relax. Grime is like a small boxing ring, and you got to punch fast. Okay, I think someone used this as an example. Hip hop is more of it's like a big boxing ring where you have space to go on the ropes and, you know, run, do a Sugar Ray Leonard. Grime's different. You're forced to punch. You have a punch or get punched. It's that sort of beat. It's very, very quick. So that's a little insight into our street culture, where we're from. I don't know what else to say about that. But another thing that's going on, I just want to, before I end, that I don't like, is now we have the new generation. Now I'm in my 20s, there's a new generation, and it's not original. It's not, it's an imitation copy of what's going on in Chicago. And we're using new slang that has nothing to do with what I grew up saying. Like, you got people saying, oh, I'm smoking loud. Smoke loud. We don't say smoke loud. Out here, we call it crow. Bun crow. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Probably do another discussion on this. Anyway, peace.